Jones, I'm going to need you to do some serious production on this. I'm sitting maybe at work an hour early waiting for a meeting. So I'm going to do this in short clips, but, one of the things Troy asked me is Eastern Conference. What do I think is going to happen? Who do I think's coming out of there? How do I think with my heart and my head at the same time? And anyone who knows me kind of knows where this is going to end up. But I'm trying to be, I'm trying to really think this through, trying to think some strategy and not just be a home relief guy. But it'll probably end up with me being a home relief guy. There's a spoiler for you. So we're gonna go through the East. Troy went through the West. I was watching it this morning. Interesting thoughts. I don't disagree with a lot of it. I do really like San Jose, and maybe that's because I took 3/4 of the team in a certain draft. But I do like the Sharks. I think they're a bit of a sleeper. I like the way they look right now. But he has Vegas. Vegas and LA. That's going to be tough. That is going to be tough in my opinion. I think LA is one of those playoff teams, but I don't want to crush your hopes and dreams there, buddy. So we'll get into the East. We'll talk about the first series, the series that should be on everybody's mind. Certainly on the top of my mind, the Bruins and the Leafs. So the reality is nobody's given Toronto a chance. Like, nobody has given the Leafs a chance. Everything I'm reading, and I haven't had a lot of time, but certainly the narrative that I'm seeing is that Boston's gonna hammer them, and I honestly don't think so. We beat them when I'm not on the team, but sometimes I think the Leafs won 3 out of 4 games. Deep team, man. Like, I'll put the 3 lines against anybody's 3 lines. Balanced scoring, 2 crazy power play units. Now that Matthews is obviously back and healthy, and Nylander's clicking. The Bruins are amazing. The Bruins are deep, but they got that one line, and I know they got Nash and they got Backes and some of these guys coming down the stretch, fucking Donato or something. But man, I like the Leafs' chances in this. I like them a lot. I have some side bets going on about what this series is going to look like. I think they're going to take it. I'm going to say in 6, man. If they can get game 1 or 2, well, they need to get game 1 or 2, but they were deadly at home in the last kind of couple months of the year, tying franchise records for home ice record or home ice wins or something. It was all gravy here in Toronto for the first time in a long time. But I really do like the Leafs, even if I just look at those 2 teams on the ice. I think it's going to be a good series. But all right, so we got the Leafs. We got the Leafs over the Bruins. You heard it here first. And the reality is that needs to happen, because if that doesn't happen, it's not going to be a good look for me. It's not going to be a good look for a couple of months. All right, moving on. The next one I want to talk about is the Capitals and the Blue Jackets. So, I'm torn with this one. My pool has me taking all the Jackets, but this is the first year, and I think we've talked, I certainly talked to Troy about this, but this is the first year I feel like nobody's talking about the Capitals. Like, the expectations are low. They've kind of flown under the radar. So, going into yesterday, I was very high on the Capitals. I was thinking, this could be the year. They don't have all this pressure, et cetera, et cetera. And then I find out, and I think I found this out from Barnes, that Grubauer is getting the start. I understand Holtby was struggling, and he was nursing something small, apparently. I may have just made that up. That may be rumor and innuendo. But how do you not get him going? In game one, I struggle with that. The only thing I can think is that he's going to get annoyed from this and then come in game two and be amazing. Maybe that's how he is motivated. I don't know, but I wholeheartedly disagree. You put your horses in. You put the guys that have been there, that have this, unfortunately for them, this history of not doing well in the playoffs. And I was really high on them that this was their year. Anyway, the Grubauer thing kind of throws me off. Now you got the Jackets, and there's another team that they went on some crazy winning streak this year, right? Like some real, I don't even remember what it was. It was something, I'm gonna say like 20 games or something where they got a point. Something wild. I like to not research, just come in and talk and make up numbers. I find it more entertaining. But they're really hot, and they're a deep team too. And Seth Jones, I knew Seth Jones coming into this year was going to have a breakout season. I called it, and he did. Pierre-Luc Dubois, like this guy is kind of Swiss Army knife in terms of everything he does on the ice. Atkinson started to come around. He started to get going. Bobrovsky, I don't know. He had a great year. He's hot and cold. If he gets really hot though, he's unbeatable when he's firing on all cylinders. He can look like the best goalie in the game. So there's lots of interest in that series. I am gonna, just based on the Grubauer thing though, I'm gonna take the Jackets in 7. I think the Jackets in 7 move on in that series. And then they're gonna face the winner of Pittsburgh Philly, and I think Pittsburgh I think they got another gear, and they're just going to get in these playoffs. They just terrify me. When you look at that team every year, nobody said they'd repeat. They repeated, so I don't know why. I'm not picking them to win the Cup, spoiler alert, but I don't know why. Why can't they make a run here? They're good. Like, they're really good. You got Crosby, Malkin. I mean, everyone knows he's on the team. Letang healthy, he didn't quite have the year I thought he was going to have, but still super solid. So I think they're going to wipe the floor with Philly. I think Philly is just in over their head. I'm glad the Leafs aren't playing Pittsburgh. I don't want to play Pittsburgh. I hope, we don't play Pittsburgh. In 6, I just think they're, again, Pittsburgh is just so solid. I think they meet Toronto in the conference finals. So we got Pittsburgh-Toronto conference finals, and I'll come back with what that series is going to look like.